Christian, obviously a disappointing result, but what did you feel like maybe didn't get done to get that result, to get that draw, maybe even get a win?
Yeah, I think the difference at this level is in front of goal. You saw their two chances, their expected goals, and their result. The difference was in the box, whether it was defending, whether it was scoring a goal. And we obviously showed that we can perform, against Botafogo, but it's another thing about having a complete performance and locking down defensively and scoring goals in their box.
The team looked a lot better in the second half. What was the message in the locker room, and what did you guys do different there in that second half?
Well, at 2-0, you have nothing to lose, right? We talked about having keeping that scoreline at 2, and then giving ourselves a chance to get back in the game. We felt that if we got one goal, we can ride that momentum and potentially make a game out of it. And so what you saw was intensity, mentality, and a bit of class, showing that we can play through them. And the difference was, again, not being clinical in front of goal.
Can you talk a little bit about this is twice, back-to-back was making questionable decisions that seem to have impacted the way that the outcome of the game. How do you guys kind of overcome that or deal with that?
Yeah, it's important to take the good also, what Nuhu brings to the table. It was a play I think that he wishes he could have back, a play that I think our whole team was a bit frustrated with, and so we have to look back at film and hold him accountable, right, for that foul and maybe some other circumstances, just like how we hold myself included, and other people accountable. So it's important to have that dialogue. But again, Nuhu does good things for us, but unfortunately today, in that play in particular, he lost his head a bit.
Was it something that impacted you in that moment though too? Was there needing to regroup or anything? Or is that just kind of like the outsider?
With Nuhu in particular,
yeah,
of course. I think we need to. We know Nuhu. He's a player that plays with a lot of emotion, and sometimes when you speak to him, you have to speak to him in a good way, in a positive way, to keep him motivated. At times, Nuhu can get into his shell a little bit, and so it's about being positive with him on the field. And I felt like we never got that moment because the goal happened so fast. And so, important to regroup. The second goal was even tougher to watch, going into the second half, 44th minute, is something that we could definitely work on as well.
What marks success for you against PSG and Atletico Madrid? What do you want to see in these next 2 games from the team?
I'd love to see a performance where we bring intensity.
Last one for Christian, guys.
We show that we can compete at that level. We show that not only we can compete from an intensity and athletic standpoint, but from a tactical standpoint, playing out of the back, show that this league is good enough at the world stage. And I think this is what this tournament is all about for us.
Last one for Christian, guys.
This was the kickoff for a big 2 summers of football in Seattle. Did this feel like that? Did this feel different than a regular MLS game?
For sure, the intensity, the intensity in our fans in particular, I did feel like there wasn't 30,000 people in the stadium. It felt more, to be honest, and so that was great to see. The lead up to the game, right? All these cameras, the buses. There's a lot of limelight with this tournament being here in the United States, and hopefully it only magnifies the game here in Seattle in the United States.